Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. In this tutorial I'll be demonstrating how to create this gold drip naked cake with gold bowl spheres. As always, I'm using a white cake board. This is a 12-inch cake board and I'm sticking an 8-inch cake on top. I'm piping a black line around the border of each layer. That way the white chocolate ganache frosting that I have in the center will not show through to the outside and it'll be a clean, neat black naked cake. With a spatula, just passing over and pushing that frosting to the edge and touching that line of black frosting that I've created. I've used two 8-inch cakes in total that have been cut in half to create a 5-inch or so tall cake. Once your cake layers are stacked, create a crumb coat. This is a thin layer of frosting that goes all the way around the cake. You can make it nice and thick, and then you can control for how naked your cake is going to look at the end. All the tools used in this video will be linked below for the Amazon shop. Go around with your bench scraper to make sure it's all nice and smooth. And then clean up the top, bring that lip of frosting to the center with a nice big spatula. I like to clean up the bottom of my cake board as well, especially if you're using a colored frosting. And then pop your cake into the fridge for 20 minutes to set and work on your top tier. This is a 6-inch cake sitting on a 6-inch cake board, very, very important. Fill in with the desired color that you like. I've used white chocolate ganache frosting and the recipe will be linked in the description box below as well. Go around with your pink frosting. Again, creating a thicker crumb coat is always best so that you can keep taking off and achieve the naked look that you like. Bring that lip of frosting to the center again with your spatula and then pop this top tier into the freezer to set for at least half an hour. Pop dowels into your bottom tier. They can be wood, I've used the straw ones, give them a bit of a wriggle, and then cut them where the black frosting ring is, and that'll be flush with the top of your cake. Spread some frosting over the top to stick your top tier on top. Release your top tier, lift it, and then pop it right in the center, and gently remove your spatula. And we have a naked cake. Pop it into the fridge in the meantime and start your chocolate spheres. This is dark chocolate that I've got here. It is compound chocolate, so I like to use a Nestle. And I'm pouring them into half sphere molds. If you have polycarbonate molds, that would be best. Again, these will be linked in the description box below where you can find these. Using a spatula to scrape off any excess chocolate, and I'm actually pushing it into a second mold that I have there of larger spheres. You want to make sure that you let it sit for maybe a minute or so and then tip the chocolate over. When you empty out the chocolate, it's going to create beautiful shells. If you don't let them set in the molds long enough, you're going to end up with really, really fragile and thin shells. That's why you want to leave them in there for at least a minute before you toss out all your chocolate. Clean up around the mold so that you can pull them out pretty easily and let them set completely. I put mine in the fridge for about 10 minutes and then I'm gently pushing them out of that mold. Again, if you didn't let them sit in there long enough, then it's going to be really fragile and you're probably going to break them. On a side note, you don't actually have to take out all that chocolate. You can make them really heavy, but that would work only on the top of a cake. They wouldn't really stick to your side of a cake because it's going to be way too heavy. I've got a hot pan and I am melting down the very edge of each sphere and then touching it together and sticking them together this way. Wipe the edge if there's any excess chocolate and then let them set completely. In the meantime, I have some champagne gold by Creative Cake Decorating, tossing it into a bag, a Ziploc bag here, and my chocolate spheres. Give them a bit of a toss, bit of a roll around, and voila, you have these beautiful chocolate gold spheres. Now they're ready to go on your cake, but first we want to make a gold drip. This is white chocolate. I've added a ton of vegetable oil. You could use canola oil as well. This stops your chocolate from seizing when you put in gel food colors. We want a gold color base for our chocolate drip, so I've added in some gold colors. Drip it over the side of your cake, starting from the middle. Give your cake a bit of a shake to settle your chocolate, otherwise you'll see those lines where you piped. That's not always attractive, so give it a bit of a shake. If it's not settling, it means that your chocolate's too thick and you needed just a little bit more vegetable oil. Do the same for your bottom tier. Again, give a bit of a shake to settle the chocolate and let that set completely. So I popped mine in the fridge and then the next morning I decorated it. This is the Champagne Gold by Creative Cake Decorating. Added in a little bit of rose water to create a paint. If you can't use rose water or vodka, you could also use white vinegar or fresh lemon juice. It's acidic by nature and so it evaporates when you add it into a paint. Use a nice big brush for the very top, and then for the actual drip, use a smaller brush to be a little more precise and to have a little bit more control. Follow the exact same steps for your bottom tier. The reason why our drip was tinted gold is that if you miss any spaces, you won't really be able to tell because the base was kind of gold and so it'll be camouflage. If you do get any gold paint on your frosting, you can easily brush it away with a little bit of water on a brush. Add on your gold spheres, sticking them on with some buttercream frosting. Recipe for this will be in the description box below, along with everything else. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make a 2-tier gold drip cake. This was my brother's partner's 21st birthday, and he loved it. I really loved it as well, and I hope you guys like it too. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. We upload a new cake decorating video every Tuesday. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.